Welcome back to ZF's Garage. We're going to take a break from the wagon build tonight and work on this 97 Nissan pickup. They're complaining that the battery light's coming on and the truck is shutting down on them even though it's got a brand new battery in it. Now I'm pretty sure the alternator's already bad in this truck, but we're going to go ahead and diagnose it to make sure. Stick with me and let's see how this goes. All right, let's see. Well, that's an engine. Where? Oh, there you are. Well, you're all the way down there. And you've got the V-belts. Okay. So this is going to be a little bit more fun than I thought it was going to be. Not going to be a big deal, but we're going to have to take some extra pieces off of here. I'm going to grab my tools and we'll sneak y'all in here so you can see what's going on. And we'll get going. So, unfortunately, the camera SD card is completely full, so right now we're actually shooting on my cell phone. So, hopefully the quality doesn't suffer. And maybe some of that will transfer in the meantime, but for now, I've got a meter lead problem I got to deal with here. So apparently at some point, if you can see it, see that little piece up in there? That's got to come out. So maybe we can get lucky here. Oh yeah, there we go. Adios! Now then, back to the program. Let's see what we're at. So we're going to use our multimeter and find out exactly what kind of voltages we're seeing. We just want to make sure we're looking for DC, not AC. So we're looking at 12.64 right now. So I'm going to go ahead and fire it up and see what we're reading with it running. We should see that jump up to about 13 and a half, anywhere 13 and a half to like 14 and a quarter, 14 and a half. It's pretty consistent to what you might normally see. If it's not in that range and it stays low, then you know your alternator's not charging. So let's fire this bad boy up here. Oh, got to put in the clutch. Ugh. All right. Well, we are charging. It's at 14.43 volts here. Bring you over. So we're at 14.3, so that's good. I wonder what's causing it not to charge. Maybe, let's take a look at our belt. Let me get the light over here, so we'll set you back up. Bring you over here. So, can you see it? There's our alternator there. I don't see much wobble in the belt. We'll shut it down in a minute and see how that belt's acting. Make sure it's good and tight. But for now, let's set you back up. And we're just going to let it run for a minute and see if it dives or anything. He said that his battery light was coming on while driving. So I'm curious to see what's causing that. Now, the voltage regulator could be acting up on it, or it could just have a bad connection at the back side of the alternator. So right now it's idling kind of high from it being cold. We're going to let it warm up and see what it does for the next 5 or 10 minutes or so. So I think we'll shut the camera down and we'll pick back up in a few minutes to see what it's doing. The truck's cooled down now, and I haven't seen any issues with the voltage. It's still charging at 14.5 volts. So we're just going to start at the battery. We'll move a couple things around, make sure the terminals are tight, which the ground is not, even a little bit. So my question is, maybe that loose connection with all that grease is why the battery light is coming on. So let's see. Well, we got a check engine light, we got a brake light, but we do not have a battery light. So our voltage is definitely dropping down now. We're down at 13.4. And I know it's got this is dielectric grease that's on it here, but you can kind of, I don't know if you can hear that. When I pull this off, here the engine kind of idles up a little bit, and then it lags down. So this is the same kind of thing that you'll notice whenever you're jump starting a car. When you have the cables on and you try to crank the other car and it doesn't crank, so you go over and you wiggle the cables around and you hear this same tone from the engine. So you'll have it to where you don't have a good connection. And like I said, I don't know if you can hear this. I hope you can. But the engine will be idling normal. It has no load on it at all, okay? So you can hear that, and as soon as you put it on, listen. See if you can hear it. You hear the change in pitch there? Now as I wiggle this cable, I can hear that engine changing. So I think what we're going to do, I don't want to spend a bunch of unnecessary time looking at this guy's truck. I don't want to tear it apart needlessly. I know that the alternator is charging, and I know we do have a loose connection right here at the battery. So I'm going to go ahead and see if we can get this terminal here a little bit tighter. I might actually have another terminal hanging out here. If I do, I'll go ahead and throw it on there for him. And we'll let him go and see how it takes. It might be fine for years to come. We'll find out when we get there. So I'm going to look for a terminal real fast, and we'll see what we can do. Isn't the way I want to do this, but unfortunately, it's what we're going to do. And I'm now realizing that my microphone's on, my camera is rolling. So what you hear me doing off camera here, no, actually I'll grab you real fast. So, since the wagon is not getting any runtime in the near future, and our parts stores are closed right now, we're going to go ahead and snag this one here off of the wagon. This battery is probably going to go over into that anyways. We have a wedding in the morning for a friend I grew up with, and I think I want to drive the old Concorde over there if it wants to run. Not certain it will. It's kind of a cantankerous little beast. Come on. Ugh. There we go. There it is. Oh, goodness gracious. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. That's not the right size there. I thought that was a 10. Well, oh, I got 3/8, that's why. Boy, it is cold. So usually when I'm recording, this garage door's open. Well, that is a 10, right? Yeah, that's it. So you can tell that I didn't do it again. Proof. That's a 10. Huh. Okay. Okay, Nissan. Are you an 11 or are you a 7/16? Oh, the third time is the charm. Maybe I'll just delete the first 2 takes. I mean, you guys wouldn't know. How would you know? Oh. Set you over there somewhere where you can't cause no trouble. Oh, okay. Boy, yeah, she's got a little bit of corrosion there. But we can probably clean that up and use on a different battery with a bigger terminal. But I don't believe it's going to be working on this one. So the Eagle is going to donate to the Nissan. Which, granted, never know, the Eagle might have Nissan parts on it somewhere. If you didn't know, AMC stands for American Motors Corporation. It's also known as All Makes Cars, because they borrowed parts from everybody. They'd call them up and say, hey, what don't you use anymore? They'd say, oh, well, GM's got these old steering columns they don't want. Well, send them on over here to the Brampton plant. We'll use them up. So my 1986 AMC Eagle has a GM steering column. It also has, what did I do with my wrench? But it also has a Ford ignition system on there. The, what was it, DuraSpark, I think? That's the one nobody liked, I know that. Well, the one that most anybody I've ever talked to says they didn't like anyways. Well, I just had that wrench. And it must have gotten up. It must have grown legs. Because I can't find it. Well, I guess we don't need these anymore. I need to rename my channel to ZF Scavenger Hunt. Because I'm always looking for tools. I promise there's little gnomes or gremlins or the tool version of a keyboard elf or something that comes in here and they just grab all the stuff. They hide it on you. Then they put it right back where you left it so you can find it later and think you're going crazy. That's exactly what they do. Well, I think that might have been an easier fix than what we were expecting. Now that loose battery cable may not be the culprit. It could be something else. But since we found that, we went ahead and repaired it. And we're going to let him get on his way. It's starting to get late, and he doesn't want to be here all night, I'm sure. Plot twist. So, pulled the truck out, turned the headlights on, and immediately the engine started surging. So whenever it's under load, this alternator is having some issues. I went ahead and put my meter on it. It's dropping down to 12.2 volts whenever we turn the lights on and start driving it around. It's not constant, it just kind of comes and goes. We left the truck running for probably about 10 or 15 minutes with the lights on and only surged twice. So we're going to go ahead and pull this thing down and apart, get to that alternator, swap it out, get the new unit in, and let it go. So that should be all we got to deal with. Let's go ahead and dig in. I'm sorry if the audio sounds kind of rough. Like I said, it's pretty cold here. I think it's down in the 20s right now. I can't close my shop door because the Concorde don't want to start, so I can't get the Nissan in. So the propane heater is running literally right below the camera so that I can try and keep my hands a little bit warm. They're pretty stiff right now. So let's go ahead and start taking some stuff off of here and get going. Well, who put that on? You ever heard the phrase, everything is a hammer if you want it to be? Because I was about to use these channel locks as a hammer, but then I was like, I can just twist it with the channel locks. Oh my goodness. How are you supposed to get that out of there without draining the radiator? Okay. Okay. Is there a better view here that I can get you? Now that we are getting into the more electrical stuff, let's go ahead and get this unhooked. So here's what we're dealing with. You can see the alternator right there. I've got the one bolt out for the tensioner. There's another bolt in the bottom that holds it on. You can see the one nut there in between the two hoses. That's our power. That needs to be disconnected. There's a plug over beside it that needs to come out. And there's a ground strap. It's that little black wire you can see down there just barely. There we go. That's also got to come off. All right. Let's make a mess. Maybe we'll get lucky and it won't be a terrible mess. Oh. I am kind of hoping that if I leave the radiator cap on it, it won't go quite as fast out. We're going to see. There it goes. We're going to lose it all. Now I'm really hoping that we will be able to leave the lower radiator hose on. If we can leave that on, I won't be quite so bummed out about the fact that we're having to pull the upper. Because the upper, we're only going to lose so much fluid. It won't be a terribly big deal. So, yep, we lost some, but not a terrible amount. We'll tuck this here. Hopefully that'll be good enough for not leaking more of it out. There she is. Razor knife. Let's see. Now, we didn't lose too much radiator fluid, and it doesn't look like I made a giant mess on the floor, so that's good. Now, usually when you do an alternator, you get a core charge. This one did not have a core charge, so that's pretty cool. Ooh, look at that. New magnet for the fridge. See if we can focus on it there. Boy, isn't that a nice Camaro? We're gonna find a spot in the blues. Here are the blues. We'll go. Yes. Yes. Here we go. Collection is growing. Now, how did we do this? Something sort of like this, I think. Pull that one out of the way, and then just sort of hope. There it goes. See, nothing to it. Alright. Now, let's go ahead and hook this back up so we can stop dripping coolant all over my brand new alternator. Ugh. There it is. Now, come on now. You are that close and you're going to fight me? Really? All right, we have prevailed. Goodness. Try not to catch my feet on fire. Ugh. All right. Well, I probably ought to get this ground sorted out real quick. Probably a good idea. Do that nut. There it is. Found it. Nobody be alarmed. All right. Ground is on. Let's go ahead. See if we can't get it plugged in here. All right, let's get that bottom bolt in there. Can't see nothing. There it goes. Okay. Yeah, what I do with the nut? There it is. We'll get that started. Well, good thing it's tight. I just dropped that. And we get this belt on. Might be easier to do without this bolt in. What'd I do with that ratchet that I just had? There it is. Put it up there. Now, I want to get you guys in here so you can see it. With these belts, being that they're V-belts, a lot of people don't know how to adjust them. Let me see if I can get a good view here. Now, it might have to work. Can you see it there? Not really. There's like nothing metal to stick this thing to. Alright. So, you can see our belt is right. Well, that's a bad view too. I'll be darned. Maybe from this angle. You can see our belt right here. Now, I've always been taught you want about a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of deflection either way on it. So basically push on it and make sure you've got a little bit of give. Too loose, they'll squeal. Too tight, they'll squeal. But too tight, you might break them. So too loose is better than too tight. I've got that one where I want it. Someone go ahead and lock it down. Get this other belt on. There goes my light. Oh, I can definitely show y'all what I mean on the deflection of the belt with this one. We got 10 years of play on this. We got all the room. Not that one. Not any of those. Another socket down in there. There it is. Alright, so you'll be able to see a little bit better this time. So what I'm talking about when I say the deflection, it's the movement up and down of this belt. Now, don't try and really jam on it to get it. You want to be able to just kind of wiggle it a little bit. So right there, that's about the deflection I like to see in a belt. Make sure it's not too tight, it's not too loose. Now this truck did have a belt squeal. I'm not sure if it's one of the other belts. It's got a 3-belt setup on it, and this belt here does feel kind of loose. So that might squeak a little bit. We'll find out. And if it does, we'll just go in and change some things and increase or decrease the tension and go until the belt don't squeak. And like I just did, I just squeaked. Which one? I got a pocket full of sockets. Some people got pockets full of sunshine. I got pockets full of sockets. Well, we don't have any belt squeal. and it sounds like it might be charging. Let's see. We've got 14 and a half. So I'm going to leave this set. I'm going to let it run for a little while. I'll check back in with you guys here in just a little bit after we've let it run for about 15 or 20 minutes, verify no leaks off this radiator hose and make sure that it stays charging. So I'll check back in with you guys in a bit. Well, I think that's going to do it for this little truck. The new alternator's charging between 14.1 and 14.4 volts for the last 25-30 minutes or so. We don't have any coolant leaks, the belts aren't squealing, so we're going to go ahead and back it out, get it parked, and he can come pick it up tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead, tidy up the shop a little bit, I'm going to head on in the house. Thanks again for tuning in. If you like the content, please be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell, and drop a comment about what you thought about this repair on this little truck. Thanks again, I'll see you next time.